Hello, my friend. Here we are on Wednesday.
Well, happy Wednesday to you, Julie.
Yeah, good to see you. I've been really looking forward to today.
You are
Yeah, I think I'm hungry for a poem.
hungry
Yeah.
for a poem.
Mhm. There's
Well,
something to really now that we've been in this rhythm of sort of sharing this. Um, it's like Tuesday nights I start thinking, ooh, tomorrow it's either my turn or your turn. And I just love the synchronicities and the way these poems are sort of finding us, and some of the fun response we're getting from friends who are playing along and enjoying the discovery as well. So it's been a joy. It's been a lot of fun.
I think joy is a good word, and as the time has gone on, one of the things I've been paying attention to is it feels like it gets easier, but putting my own Susan spin on it, I think, oh, that's too easy. I should go back, you know,
Does it
and
feel
work
like
a little
work?
harder. But I think what I've been cultivating is that openness, that
Mhm.
what finds its way to me is where my attention is. So
Right.
instead of the other way of looking to put my attention on something, allowing that whatever I need will find its way to me.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's been a good reminder for both of us because this started from such a fun, organic sharing, just kind of space that, um, with the intention that we didn't want it to become work. We
Right.
wanted it to stay play and not to downplay or um, minimize that play is important right now, especially right now with
Yes.
so much kind of coming at us from so many directions. Yeah, I think that's why I look forward to it so much. It's a little respite, a little breathing room space. There's
Mm-hmm.
something about the power and potency of words and how somebody else may have put them down from an experience, a vision that they had, but they find you and then you claim them for
Right.
yours. I just love that about this experience.
Yes. So these words found me the first time 3 years ago, but they showed
Mhm.
back up again a couple weeks ago. And these words, before I go into
Mhm.
who put the words out into the collective, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the synchronicities. Um, this poem, for me, it meets it meets you and I at the intersection between poetry and sound.
Okay.
So, as David White says, poetry is the language against which we have no defense.
Mm.
And the authors of this poem have this quote that says, "Where words fail, music speaks."
Oh, wow.
And
Hmm.
so they go on to say that music unites us in ways that no other medium can. Even if we don't understand one another's languages, we can be moved by a rhythm, soothed by a song, brought together by unified sense of purpose, the spirit of many souls working as one in harmony, creating sounds that we can never produce alone.
That's profound.
Yes. So, the name of the poem is called Home in Your Heart. And I first heard this as a song by the band Elephant Revival.
I did not know this band.
Well, Hmm.
I'm excited. I love the name.
Yeah, so I chose this, because of also because of the intersection of our two callings of activism and remaining present moment with ourselves and the world around us.
Mm.
And this band, Elephant Revival, shares a commitment to responsibility stewardship of the planet and its inhabitants. They work with organizations such as the Conscious Alliance, Calling All Crows, Trees, Water, and People, and other nonprofits supporting humanitarian causes. Their very name was chosen out of empathy of a trio of zoo pachyderms who, upon being separated after 16 years, died within a few months of each other. So they call themselves, so like Elephant Revival, it is a blend of music and social consciousness.
Are these a US based group?
They are a Colorado-based band. They've been called transcendental folk music because
Cool.
they combine American folk music, Celtic folk music. They play instruments from the banjo to the washboard. They play uh, a saw, the teeth in the saw,
Mhm.
but also their voices and their essence is also part of the music.
Mm.
So this finding its way in this band, how they combined several things that are of value to you and I. But the third reason this came forward, not only because you and I have been cultivating this poetry and sound and activism and being present in ourselves and in the world around us, but this song first found me 3 years ago, um, under similar circumstances. As you know, a few weeks ago, I was talking about how I was feeling really in the mud,
Mhm.
and I was feeling really stuck and just grabbing, looking for some way to hold on, looking for some way to climb out of the mud. Um, and then gradually began to feel held and supported by the mud, and
Mhm.
could see the wisdom of being in the mud so that things could cultivate and grow out of me. When you're in the mud, that's really hard to remember. So it was, this song came back to me a couple weeks ago when I was feeling really in the mud. Um, and I kind of put it aside because what came through so prominently 2 weeks ago was Molly O'Sullivan's poem, "Journey to Your Soul," which really held me in such a tender place during that time. But this song first found me in the summer of 2017, and that summer was another summer that was shaped by the collective chaos and the internal chaos. Because the summer of 2017, I was 6 months um, post completion of my meditation teacher training, which is a pretty intensive soul searching endeavor. And so I'm 6 months away from that, which I thought was the end of my journey. Once I finished my meditation teacher training, I would be done. But I didn't know it was actually the beginning of my soul journey. And so that summer was one of my biggest spiritual awakening and deepening during that summer. But when I stopped to think about this, Julie, when I was in the lovely, the peaceful, the spiritual Sedona, Arizona, January 2017, finishing my meditation teacher training. Um, Outside of our windows that weekend, from coast to coast, all places in between, including Sedona, was the Women's March.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
And, because that was the weekend of 45's inauguration.
Right.
And it felt like the beginning of an awakening for the collective, one that had been coming for a long
Mhm.
time, but in our current um, history, it was the beginning of what we're going through this summer. Um, so I think it's no coincidence that this song, which found me then when I was deep in the mud, and this summer, here we are again in this collective chaos, and I've been feeling some internal chaos as I try and shift again. Here comes this song. Here come these words once again. So the words and the music are like balm for my fragile and fighting soul. And I say fragile and fighting because um, I feel fragile each time I have an awakening and some little piece of my soul wants to be known. I end up feeling very fragile. And I want to fight. When I feel fragile, I want to fight my way out of it and get back to my status quo, right? So I've had this summer. I have taken kind of a hiatus and a slowing down. I could feel this kind of uh, something was stirring inside, and so I took kind of a hiatus and a slowing down. Um, and in the middle of that, I find myself in the mud again. So here's the slowing down. So, um, just thinking about this slowing down, I remembered something about this band Elephant Revival because they came together in 2006. This song that I'm going to read came out in 2016, and I discovered it in 2017. And then in 2018, they made this announcement. The band has been dealing with some family matters that have led us to reassess and realize that while we've been putting so much energy into Elephant Revival, we need some time to reconnect with our loved ones and focus on personal growth.
Mm.
So when I first read that, I was almost devastated because I felt like I was late to the party and I had missed out on everything. But then I realized what a courageous way of modeling um, what taking care of yourself looks like. So
Mhm.
here's this band that they're kicking it. It's not like, they've dwindled out or anything. They are still kicking it everywhere they go and putting out new music. But they listened to their soul, and their soul said, put your energy on these other places for now. So I feel like that has been a modeling each time I feel like I need to step away and slow down. Um, that has modeled it's okay. It will be okay to slow down and step away. So I was thinking about this um, in the last couple weeks. And I want to make sure I mentioned these lovely six souls that are Elephant Revival. And maybe even share a little bit of the instruments that they're playing. So they are from Colorado. There is Bonnie Payne, and she plays the washboard, the musical saw, and the stomp box. Bridget Law, she is on fiddle. Charlie
Mm.
Rose, banjo, pedal guitar, pedal steel guitar, horns, cello, and double bass.
Yep.
Dango Rose is on double bass, mandolin, and banjo. Daniel Rodriguez, guitar, banjo, double bass, and Darren Garvey is a percussionist.
So this
So,
is a nice composite of talented musicians.
isn't this? Isn't
Yeah.
this? Um, oh, I lost my train of thought. So, the name of this poem is called Home in Your Heart. And there is a recurring phrase that says, "Don't push the water, let the river move you along." And this is what has been playing in my mind over and over the last few weeks. And this is what 3 years ago was really helpful for me when I'm feeling fragile and I want to fight my way back up to the surface. But really, when you're in the mud or in a moving stream, that's usually not helpful. You end up going further under. But this
Right.
idea that you can relax, you can allow the mud to hold you, you can allow the river to move you along where you're supposed to go. You can know that the riverbanks are going to hold all of this and are going to guide you effortlessly. So soothing for me, and I imagine other folks to allow. I can relax in the midst of this chaos. I can relax and know that I will move at the pace that my soul guides me. I'll be moving in the direction that my soul wants me to go. So I will say these words over and over again. And I felt like if I'm saying them over and over to soothe myself, maybe one or two other people might benefit from hearing or having the experience of being able to slow down and not force their way through.
Mm. This is a beautiful example of how words can become your mantra.
Yeah.
And a mantra is an instrument for the mind that brings you a sense of peace, a sense of calm. It's a self soothing technique.
Mm-hmm.
So I love how you're modeling that as a mindfulness
Hmm.
meditation instructor, that these words sort of have found you and brought you that. That's really powerful.
Thank you. Thank you for highlighting that.
Mhm.
Reminded me, yes, they are a mantra. So,
Mhm.
with all the buildup, are you ready to hear Home in
I'm
Your
ready.
Heart? Words put into the collective by the six souls of the Elephant Revival.
Mm.
Falling down, spin me round. No one said this would be easy now, but you've got to keep moving somehow. Drifting round, cold river bound, someone said to me one day, head on down to the waters and stay a while. Go down to the soul of the river. Go where love found you there. Feel deep in them goosebumps and shivers. Go where the mouth of the river runs wide. Don't push that river, let the river move you along. There's home in your heart when there's heart in your home. Don't force nothing and something will come around. Light as a feather when you're homeward bound. You said it's a song from the smoke how it rose. You dance along all your words to prose, but you're not bowed, no shame, regret. You set your sails and move full speed ahead. Don't rush that river, let the river move you along. There's home in your heart when there's heart in your home. Don't force nothing and something will come around. Light as a feather when you're homeward bound. Light as a feather when you're homeward bound. Falling down, spin me around. No one said this would be easy now, but you've got to keep moving somehow. Don't push that river, let the river move you along. There's home in your heart when there's heart in your home. Don't force nothing and something will come around. Light as a feather when you're homeward bound. Light as a feather when you're home. I feel emotional just reading.
I'm feeling emotional.
I can feel the letting go and
Yeah.
letting the emotions flow through by speaking the words.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I as you were reading this, I was thinking about something that I had heard years ago from Jean Houston. Are you familiar with Jean Houston and her work?
I'm not
She's sort
sure.
of I don't even know how to really describe her, a futurist and storyteller, super well educated woman who's now in her 80s and still teaching. And she did a lot of work in anthropology and going to different cultures and doing in-depth sort of studies and then bringing back the data that she had collected. And she talks about indigenous cultures who, when faced with a problem, a big problem in their community, it could be a small problem too, but a problem in their community that they need to get consensus on, they need healing to happen, whatever that is, they sing the problem. They
Hmm.
don't get together and talk about it. They get together and they sing and they dance.
Hmm.
And the problem solves itself or solutions evolve and it's sort of this much more don't push the river kind of experience. And
Right.
I don't know, that just sort of flagged and popped into my head as you were saying, like, gosh, how nice would it be if, you know, this is the healing power of music, you know, that you can feel in the mud, you can feel at a loss or a deep hunger, a deep fatigue, a deep whatever. And music can provide another inroad in another way of seeing something or give you the release that you need, whatever that
Right.
is. Yeah.
And the movement so that the energy around the problem doesn't get stuck in the body, but the energy keeps moving through you so that solutions or the next step they unfold and become clear.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Hmm.
that's beautiful. Yeah, I will be really excited to go and look this group up and listen to them sing their work. Yeah,
I
kind
am
of fun.
excited for everybody to, if you haven't discovered them, to discover them. And I was so sad because right before I discovered them, they had been in town in the spring of 2017 for,
So they've been to Austin.
they've been to Austin. Well, they've probably been several times before I knew, but there's Old Settlers Music Festival in the spring. And I, they weren't on my radar yet. And
Mhm.
then they came on my radar and I was deep into them, and they modeled going on hiatus.
Mhm. So are
And
they still taking a break? Yeah,
mhm,
I mean, obviously we're kind of in a no performance time, but
yeah,
there hasn't been any kind of an online presence. Okay.
nope, nope. And I want to say I'm amazed, but I'm not amazed with. I really shouldn't be amazed how all these things come together. You know, that summer, this summer, when both times when I've needed a break to integrate all of the changes that are taking place,
Mhm.
when the collective has needed to be able to take a breath to integrate all of the changes that are happening, and along comes this band that models where to put your attention in order to integrate, in order to heal.
Mhm.
So, um, as David White says, poetry, the language against which there is no defense. I will now add, um, where words fail, music speaks.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, that's a beautiful share. Yeah.
Hmm. Thanks,
It's
Julie.
beautiful on so many levels because it just it's never lost on me how the power of sound, music, and just how certain words and songs feel like they're yours. And so this song feels you have made it yours. And it's now it's out in the collective and you've claimed it and who knows who else may claim it. And hopefully that collective energy will help this band stay a band. And nothing is wasted, like nothing is lost. I think about a band like the Dixie Chicks.
Yep.
I mean, they've dropped the Dixie from their name, they're now the Chicks.
Hmm.
They've had their career harmed greatly by a situation that should not have been that big a deal as far as I'm concerned. That's my, bias there. And when they realized they couldn't get traction in the country music industry in particular, they still went and had wide success in, winning, I think, like a couple of Grammys, possibly,
Hmm.
after this incident that happened. And then realized, you know what? I'm just sick of it all. I'm sick of the noise. I'm sick of they all sort of agreed to let's just go like raise our kids and let this shake out.
So
And
I love that you are bringing them up because I have been thinking about them during the last couple weeks and remembering, um, it was about 2008, 2009 when, two of the members wanted to get the band back together after they'd been
mhm,
on hiatus and they were ready to start making music again. And I heard an interview because the two of them got together and, put a band together with a different name so they were
mhm,
ready to make music. But Natalie Maines wasn't ready yet. And they told this story that they kept asking Natalie, let's get the band back. Let's make some music. And Natalie said, I am doing just fine in my garden and this is where I want to be right now. And I was recalling that story this last couple weeks because there were external pressures for her to get going again. And
mhm,
she listened to her soul and said, I am right where I need to be in my garden. But you know what? She took a hiatus, tended to her garden, and when she was ready, they got the band back together and did what they were supposed to do.
Mhm.
And I've been thinking about that because I've been doing this slowing down, and I sometimes, when I do a slowdown, I think, oh no, nothing's going to be there when I'm ready to go back online again.
Yeah. I mean, and it's been like 17 years. I mean, it's been a long stretch. It's been
Mm-hmm.
a significant amount of time. And they sound better than ever.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah, it
yeah.
was it's an interesting reminder that nothing is wasted.
Nothing
And
is wasted. And when it's not even a returning because they didn't return to the same old. Once I
Mhm.
finish the next couple weeks and I start, ramping up again, I'll be returning, but it won't be the same because I have been going through shifts and healing. Um, but and everything that is supposed to be there will be there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
You know, it's
nothing is
interesting.
wasted.
I've been thinking about the visual of the river. You know, there's that saying that you can never step into the same river twice. That's
Hmm.
sort of an interesting visual of, don't push the river, and the river shifts and changes as we shift and change.
Shift and change.
It's living body, we're living bodies. It's just kind of a really sweet visual to
Hmm.
kind of, yeah, I like that a lot. Hmm.
That is a lovely visual for us to end on today,
Mhm.
Julie.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that one. That was beautiful. Just what I
Yeah.
needed.
You're so welcome. And yeah, I hope whoever needs this permission to slow down and stop fighting, it reaches you. And you give yourself permission to go at the pace that you need to go and allow your soul to blossom.
Beautiful.
All right.
All right, my friend. Until next time.
Have a wonderful week.
You too. Bye.
Bye.